Hey, how's it going, guys? So from the same people who brought you the adorable Notchkin tank kit, here we have the Motor Suit Armodeus here. This is made by Cavico Models, so they make these cute little fun, simple little model kits that are really nice and very cheap, very affordable. They only cost like less than 10 bucks for these, so they're really cool and really want to make you get a few of them. So this one I think will be really interesting. I'm not really familiar with the background of this though. Here on the back you can see this cool illustration there of that, like this whole thing opens up and there's supposed to be a little pilot inside this kind of motor suit, as it's called. We also have some stats over here. The height is in real world 2.5 meters tall, so yeah, it's about like 10 feet or something. And it is in 1/48 scale, so this is actually in the same scale as a mega size Gundam or Zaku kit or a Unicorn kit. The mega size kits are also in 1/48 scale. As you can see, it's pretty small, so it's not going to be a very big kit, but it does look pretty cool, pretty unique, interesting style for this. So here on the bottom, as you just seen there, we got a layout of the runners. As you can see, there's just gonna be 4 little runners, which is a handful of parts on there. And once again, they're packaged in this really cool packaging where the runners are all just stood up together like this. So really cool. I like how these are packaged as well. It's just fun, interesting way of putting those together. But first, let's just take a look here inside the box, because here on this paper we have printed the instructions for that as well. So there's how it's going to go together, and you're just going to see a better look at the illustration here for the back, like the main picture there for the box. So like with the Notchkin kits, guys, you are going to be able to get these at USA Gundam Store, so check the link down below, as always, to their site, USA Gundam Store, and you can save 10% off these. Even though they're already quite cheap, you can save a little bit more, just to make it that much more worthwhile. So really glad that we were able to get these Cavico model kits into the US through USA Gundam Store there for you guys, because they're a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys are able to pick up a couple of them. So let's just take a look through the runners here real quick. So you can see parts are small, but some nice detail on there, especially all the little piston details and everything up inside there. I think we are going to have some seam lines on these parts, but nothing, shouldn't be anything too major, not through any like really super detailed areas. We can see very nice detail in on some of those parts there. I've already seen some Japanese builders building this kit up. This is, I think, an extra leg here that kind of goes out the back just to help it stand up. You can see it's a kind of rifle weapon there as well. And then the last one here, these would be the feet. So you have a lot of nice, cool like piston details there around the feet. These would be his very chunky thighs. So just a few parts. Let me get this built up, and then we'll see how he looks just straight up, built straight up out of the box. Alrighty, and I all snapped up here is how he's gonna look. He's a very small little guy, but as you can see, there is a lot of really nice detail on there. Now, just to point out where the seam lines are on them, here on the bicep, there's a seam line there. On the side of the thigh, you got a seam line down the middle of that there. It's pretty well hidden, so you might not really care too much about this, but the piston in the armpit has a seam line down the middle of that. But yeah, I can like barely show it to you, so it's very hard to even get at seeing that one. As it is, this thing is pretty cool. The legs can rotate forward and back at the hip section, but there's no other articulation in the leg at all. It's the same thing with the arms. They can rotate here at the top there at the bicep, and it's actually on a ball joint, so you can sort of move those forward and back a little bit as well, but it's just kind of like separating there at the top of the bicep a little bit. So those arms will have a little bit of movement. You can sort of point the gun maybe up a little bit like that, or have the arms like splayed out like that or something, I suppose, if you wanted. But basically it's kind of meant to just be in a standing pose. Now that said, while I was building this guy up, I did take a look over on Twitter to see what some Japanese modelers who are very quick to build and customize stuff have been doing with this. And I have seen already a couple of custom builds from over there where they've already cut the kit apart at some joints to put it into a cool action pose, which I think is probably something that I'm going to want to do, try doing with mine as well, because the standing pose is pretty cool, but I think I want to take the challenge of putting this into an action pose as well, so just cutting it up a little bit. As you can see, you have this bit here out the back, which is just supposed to be just kind of a mechanical detail part, but that acts as a third leg basically, so that the kit can stand up very easily on its own. Otherwise, I think you might have a little bit of trouble without that part attached. Well, actually, I suppose it's really not all that hard if you want to have them just standing up without that bit on the back. It is possible, but without this part attached to the back of the waist section, that is going to create another gap there, where we already have a few gaps here on the back. Obviously, here in the middle of this part here, it's sort of backpack area, you have a bunch of hollow space there, and in the back of the legs you have some hollow spaces here as well. So on the inside of these parts here on the side of the arm, you have some hollow gap in there as well. That one, again, not really all that visible. So yeah, other than those, I mean, like hollow gaps, there is some really nice detail in these bits, all these little bits, detail around here on the head as well, looks really cool, and just the overall design of this is very interesting. I did also look into the origin of this, and apparently it's from a manga called Acid City. Couldn't really find a whole lot about it, so I don't think it's exactly a really super popular one, but that is apparently what it's from. That's all I can really say that I know about it at the moment. If you guys know more about it, feel free to let me know down in the comment section. I'll be happy to hear about that. But for the time being, that is it for the Armodeus. It's pretty cool looking. And then for a size comparison, I just want to give you guys a look at this compared to the Nachkin tank kit, also from Cavico, and then just a normal size HG kit. So you can see it's very small, but I mean the Nachko kit is actually even smaller. So it's you know, small, but it's not super incredibly tiny, I guess. But yeah, it's a small kit to be sure, but it has a really small price tag. So I think you have some pretty good value for what you get with this. So if you're in the market and you think this looks like a pretty cool little fun little kit that you'd like to pick up, I would definitely recommend picking up 1 or 2 or 3. I'd say you could make a team of them and paint them in different colors or something. And again, just for the price of them, I think you might enjoy just getting a couple of them, trying out some different paint schemes or customization on them. That's going to be it for my review, guys. Hopefully that was helpful for anyone who is interested in this kit, or maybe for some of you guys who maybe didn't know that this kit was even coming out or was even a thing. Hopefully that you're interested in this sort of stuff. Again, you can check the link to US Gundam Store down below, or you can pick it up. And thank you guys all so much for watching. If you have any other further questions or comments, feel free to leave that down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.